You might think that this is an ordinary box of 1987 baseball cards, but you would be wrong. This is a super rare box and it could contain a $10,000 card inside. So let's rip it now. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to what is going to be a really fun episode because we get to open a really rare box. And you might be looking at this box saying, Jeff, that doesn't look very rare. That looks like a box of 1987 Topps baseball. And 1987 Topps baseball is not a rare box. There were hundreds of thousands or millions of boxes of 1987 Topps baseball printed. I opened up a ton of 1987 Topps as a kid. You might have as well. But this is not 1987 Topps baseball. This box is 1987 O-Pee-Chee baseball. It is the northern cousin of Topps baseball, and it is the much more rare and valuable variety of Topps baseball. You see, Topps for many years produced cards in the United States, and then they had a marketing deal with O-Pee-Chee, where O-Pee-Chee distributed cards in Canada. Now, in many ways, the designs of the cards look similar, but there are some differences. The O-Pee-Chee cards have French on them, for example, and in particular with 1987 Topps and versus 1987 O-Pee-Chee, the O-Pee-Chee cards have a much smaller checklist. 1987 Topps had a checklist of 792 different possible cards that could be inside the box. With O-Pee-Chee, it was half of that. It's got a total checklist of 396. It actually has more of the players on the Canadian teams and less of the players on the American teams. But far less boxes of these were made. And that makes the boxes and the cards a lot more valuable. And before I start ripping this to see if we can find one of those $10,000 cards, which could come out of this box here in just a minute, let me show you in Market Movers what I am talking about. So first of all, here on the screen in Market Movers, I've graphed the value of a 1987 O-Pee-Chee wax box versus a 1987 Topps wax box. You can pick up Topps wax boxes today for about $25 sealed. But this O-Pee-Chee box is going to cost you somewhere in the neighborhood of about $325. So a lot more expensive than 1987 Topps boxes. And over the last 90 days, looking across the different auction houses that we track here, 90 different 1986 Topps wax boxes were sold, but only 5 1987 O-Pee-Chee wax boxes were sold. That shows you how much more rare this box actually is. And because it's that much more rare, the cards can be that much more valuable. And let me really show you what I'm talking about here. Here we are looking at the value of the Barry Bonds 1987 Topps card in PSA 10 versus the O-Pee-Chee card in PSA 10. The Topps card in PSA 10 sells for about $250. The O-Pee-Chee card in PSA 10 sells for close to $10,000. And this has been the case for some time. If you look at price changes on the graph here, you can see this top line is the O-Pee-Chee line. There have been sales of this card for close to $20,000. That's how rare it is. It sells almost never, only 3 times in the last year, whereas that Topps card is selling, it's the bottom line here on the graph. You can barely even see that line because the value is so low in comparison. It sells so much more. Even in PSA 9 condition, the Barry Bonds from 1987 Topps is worth about $22, whereas in O-Pee-Chee it's worth $312. So we have a legitimate chance of pulling a very expensive high-end card out of this box here today. And it's not just Barry Bonds, it's other players like Will Clark. In PSA 10, his O-Pee-Chee is $660. Tony Gwynn, Ricky Henderson, Don Mattingly, George Brett, all of these cards have a lot of value if they come out of the O-Pee-Chee box in perfect condition. Now, there is one key player, though, that is missing that we're not going to find today. Can you guess who it is? Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson is, of course, one of the cards that people love to chase in 1987 Topps. He did not make it into the shorter 1987 O-Pee-Chee checklist. So we will not find a Bo Jackson card today, but hopefully we will find a Barry Bonds card in perfect condition or a Will Clark card so that this box becomes a very valuable return for me. So we're going to get ripping here. We're going to start opening this. This box is Baseball Card Exchange certified. As I'm opening this, let me mention that Market Movers, which is the program that I just showed you all these prices in, it actually tracks the prices now of every single card. You could look up any O-Pee-Chee card or any Topps card in Market Movers as long as it has sold on any of the major marketplaces. You can find it in Market Movers. And Market Movers, you can try it free for 7 days, and then it's only $9.99 per month. So getting Market Movers is a no-brainer, guys, if you want to track the value of cards and track the value of your collection. And you can get that by going to sportscardinvestor.com and clicking on Market Movers in the main menu bar, or download the Market Movers app on your phone. Go into the App Store on your phone and search for Market Movers. You're going to love Market Movers. All right, guys, there are 36 packs in this box. And you can see right off the bat, you can see how you get the French language reflected here on the pack. So you can see that little, that's one way you can tell the difference between Topps and O-Pee-Chee. Obviously, you got an O-Pee-Chee logo here. The design generally looks the same, but you do have French. By the way, you got a couple of cards on the back of the box there too. So that's if you wanted to cut those out. Cecil Cooper, there we go. Packs generally look the same, other than the fact that you do have the O-Pee-Chee logo and the French. And the cards generally look the same as well. You remember that wood pattern from 1987 that Topps was so famous for. By the way, got Expos right off the bat here, so you can see some of that Canadian influence in these cards. But you've got the O-Pee-Chee logo here, obviously, instead of the Topps logo. And then if you look at the back of these cards, that's where you can also see some differences, like you can see some French there, etc. So a little bit of O-Pee-Chee logo down there. So that's how you can tell the difference between these cards. All right, Giants there, hoping for somebody else when we went to the Giants, but that is our first pack. Remnants of Gum. Remnants of Gum. All right, if we pull a perfect condition Barry Bonds card out of here, I may chew a little bit of that gum in celebration. We'll see how we do. Gum from 1987, though, not the most fun. Reggie Jackson, one of the all-time greats there. We got another Expo, Al Newman. All right, so you see some of these cards have some little print issues on them, but for the most part, these cards look to be pretty well conditioned. Whoever had this box for all of these years did a pretty nice job of storing the box. I mean, a card like that, it's maybe a little bit off-center top to bottom, but the left-right centering on it's really, really good. The surface of it looks pretty clean. There's a little bit of an issue there, but that might kind of rub off. That might have been from the pack. Corners look good, edges look good. So I'm actually pretty enthusiastic about the condition of these cards so far. And I'm really, really now hoping that we do in fact get a Barry Bonds, especially because we could have a shot at a really good quality Barry Bonds card coming out of this box. Cal Ripken, the Iron Man, one of the all-time greats there. Great to see him. All right. So 36 packs in this box. Less total cards that you're getting from the O-Pee-Chee boxes. You know, less cards overall, obviously in the checklist, but also less cards inside the box. So we are, you know, but we're hoping for the right guys to show up. One of those, you know, one of those really, really big name guys to show up. And by the way, I've got my supplies over here ready to go from BCW Supplies. BCW Supplies is the official supply partner of Sports Card Investor. And they've hooked us up with all these top loaders and magnetic card holders and penny sleeves that we're going to be using today with any nice card that we find. And you can take advantage of a special offer that that BCW Supplies has just for Sports Card Investor listeners. If you go to bcwsupplies.com and you use promo code SCI, you're going to get 10% off your supply purchase. That is a special deal just for you guys. Again, promo code SCI on bcwsupplies.com. And you want to take advantage of that because BCW makes the best supplies in the business. So make sure you take advantage of promo code SCI for 10% off bcwsupplies.com. Hook yourself up with top loaders and penny sleeves and magnetic holders. And, you know, they make albums and they make, you know, the sheets for albums and they make card storage boxes. Anything you could possibly need to store your cards you can find on bcwsupplies.com. Store and protect your cards, all on bcwsupplies.com. All right, here we go. Okay, so we got Kirby Puckett, one of the big names from that era. That one's a little bit, off center, left, right, but I love Kirby Puckett. He was a great player. I enjoyed watching him in the 1980s when I was growing up. I'm going to go ahead and put that in one of our penny sleeves here. Yeah, that one's probably not a 10. But, other than the fact it's a little off-center left-right, that card looks really, really nice. So it's still, if nothing else, that's going to be a nice one for my PC. Jack Clark, he was Jack Clark, Will Clark, a lot of Clarks from that era that were guys who were making noise in the majors. All right, I love the old Pirates uniforms. Now they wear these Pirates uniforms as throwbacks. Dale Murphy. All right, I got to sleeve that up. Man, Dale Murphy was a real hometown hero here in Atlanta. Those Braves teams were not so good back in the 1980s, but Dale Murphy was one of the bright spots indeed. That's awesome to pull one of his cards. Being a Braves fan here in Atlanta, that's pretty special. And that, by the way, is a great condition version of that Dale Murphy card. I might even get this one graded. I mean, that is a solid condition of that card. I think that one's got, potential for a gem mint grade. I like that one a lot. If nothing else, we'll get that one for the PC because that is a beautiful version of that card. O-Pee-Chee's a fun rip. We're going through these cards pretty quickly. This is memory lane right here, guys. How many of you out there open 1987 Topps? I opened so much 1987 Topps product, just an incredible amount of 1987 Topps product. I'm curious, what is the product that you guys open the most of? I'm curious to hear that in the comments. For me, it was actually, oh, look at Pete Rose. There you go. Late career Pete Rose card. For me, it probably would have been, I'd say 1989 or 1990 Donruss, actually. I'd say my childhood collecting peaked probably with 1990 Donruss. I also have a lot of Score from 1990 as well. 90, I think, was the year that I was doing the most cards. Wally Joyner. Man, he was a big name from back then. All-star rookie card for Wally Joyner. That's fun. That's a fun card. Little trip down memory lane, seeing some of these old players, seeing some of these old names. Guys I grew up watching in the 1980s. That's a nice, it's nicely conditioned too. I'm impressed. I'm gonna top loader this as well with one of our BCW Supplies top loaders here. There we go. Got to protect some of these cards. Got to protect a little bit of history here. Wade Boggs. So I mean, even a Wade Boggs card in PSA 10 condition could do a lot of money from this set. Now I don't know that one is going to quite 10. Maybe the left right on it a little bit, but other than that. That card looks really good. I'm happy with how these cards are coming out of this box. I really am. It's pretty cool to see. So I think these boxes have 36 packs total. So you get, one of the fun things about opening up boxes from this era is you just get so many cards. So it's you got the checklist. The checklists actually can end up with some value too. Because people are trying to build the entire set. A lot of times people didn't save the checklist cards. So if you got a set builder out there who's trying to build the entire O-Pee-Chee set, that checklist can actually be an important card for them, especially if it grades well. But yeah, you get so much value out of these boxes from the 1980s in terms of just being able to rip and open all the cards. And I think this O-Pee-Chee box is kind of a unique way to take a junk wax era box and actually get some potential value out of it. Like the thrill of the chase for the Barry Bonds card here. Mike Schmidt, he was a 1980s hero, wasn't he? The thrill of the chase, like going for this Barry Bonds card right now. Sean Dunston, people were high on him for a while. Goodness. All right. Because if the Barry Bonds comes out of here, that could be a very valuable card. So you've got the thrill of the chase more than you do with other forms of 1980s junk wax by going for O-Pee-Chee. So that's kind of cool. It like ramps up the chase a little bit. It gives like the potential of a big hit if you get one of those Bonds cards. Gary Carter there, all-time great. But it's still relatively affordable. I mean, it's a lot more affordable to open up a box of this than it is to open up, you know, some of the ultra modern boxes. So, and you get a lot more cards out of it too. So that's always kind of fun to do. You can see the effect of O-Pee-Chee in the fact that the checklist, once again, heavy on the Canadian teams, right? You've got, you know, you're getting multiple Expos here in a row. Of course, Tim Raines, he was just a great from that era. You know, I might sleeve this one up because this being O-Pee-Chee, oftentimes what you find is that the Canadian players, the players that played on the Canadian teams, can sometimes be a little more valuable in the O-Pee-Chee products because of the fact that that was their, you know, that was the audience for O-Pee-Chee cards. So a lot of Canadian collectors prefer the O-Pee-Chee cards. So if you get a good Canadian player, a good player on a Canadian team, I should say, in O-Pee-Chee, those can be more valuable. All right, I have not found Barry Bonds yet. I have not found Barry Bonds yet. So there are 36 packs in here. Let's see how many cards per pack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Andre Dawson, though, look at that. He was such a great player from that era. Is this the year that Dawson was the leader in home runs? Was 87 the year that Dawson was the leader in home runs? Might have been. Might have been. You guys probably can let me know if I'm right or wrong there in the comments, that 87. I know Dawson had the home run title sometime around that time. I don't remember if it was 87 for sure or not, but he was a great player from that era for sure. All right, so if you get 7 cards and you get 36 packs per box, doing some rough math in my head here as we go, that's what, 207 times 252 cards. Did I do the math right on that? 252 cards? I think I did the math right on that. So the checklist is 396 cards. So we're definitely, I got a second Pete Rose. Nice. We're definitely not guaranteed to get a Barry Bonds. It's not a guarantee. 396 card checklist, approximately 250 cards coming out of this box. But I sure hope we get a Barry Bonds. I sure hope we do. That's the card I really want to see. I also want to see Will Clark. I mean, those are the two big ones that you really want to see. And the Bonds is a lot bigger of a card than Will Clark. Willis McGee. You know what? I used to play, when I was a kid, I played a ton of RBI baseball. And Willis McGee was on the Cardinals along with Ozzie Smith. And that team in RBI baseball, they had all this speed, didn't they? Didn't McGee have a bunch of stolen bases? Where's his stolen base? By the way, this is something that you don't see much of on, on cards anymore, right? The stats and the back that is like packed with information. Yes, look at this. So McGee in 1985 had 56 stolen bases. In 84, he had 43. That's I remember that because it was him and Ozzie Smith. They had just a potent speed-based offense in St. Louis, and as a result of that, you know, they were a fun team to play with in RBI baseball. Darryl Strawberry, that's a cool throwback card, isn't it? I hope we get a Clemens. I'd like to see a Roger Clemens come out of this one as well. I'd like to see that occur. But, you know, we don't have any packs left, guys. We don't have any packs left. I don't want to get through this and not end up with a Barry Bonds. That would be, or a Will Clark. We got to get at least one of them, right? We got to get at least one of those guys. Help me out, guys. Help me out there in the audience. Please send me some good luck and some good vibes, because I would love to see one of those guys pop out. Odds are, you know, if you do the odds on this, odds are that you're going to get at least one of them. Look at that. It's Pops. It's Pops. Ken Griffey Sr. That's Pops right there before there was a junior. That's the senior. That's the guy responsible for the junior. All right. Yeah, so odds are we're going to get either a Will Clark or a Barry Bonds. Got to get one of them, right? Pedro Guerrero, Bob Stanley. Oh, I thought that was a Clemens for a second. Man, got my hopes up there for a second. You see, look, another Expo there, another Toronto player. So you can see, you know, how you're getting, once again, a little more of that Canadian influence in this product. Another Expo as we're opening up this pack. All right, come on. Here we go. Another Expo. All right, John Franco. Come on, come on. Come on, Barry Bonds. Where you at? Where you at, Barry Bonds? I got a lot of gum sticking up over there. Bruce Sutter, he was a good pitcher. Robin Yount, all-time great player. Julio Franco, love the way Julio Franco batted. Wasn't that so much fun? How he had the bat over his head like that. He had that really unique batting stance. Loved Julio Franco, really for that reason alone. I just enjoyed watching him bat with that unique batting stance back in the 1980s. All right, lots of gum stacking up over here. All right. Oh, there we go. Boom. Yes, let's go. Let's go. Barry Bonds. That is the card I was looking for right there. And that's a nice one. It is a little bit off center, left, right. That's, of course, why the PSA 10s are so hard to find. There's so few of them out there. There's, I think in the last year, only 3 PSA 10s have ever surfaced and sold on an auction in the last year because they're rare. The PSA 10s are very low population, and this is not going to be one, unfortunately. But it's still a cool Barry Bonds card. You can see the, it's got that just iconic design, the young Barry Bonds right there. So we got the card. We got the card I wanted. We got the card I wanted. Let's get it in a penny sleeve here. And look, this card still has some value. Even in a PSA 8, the card still has some value in it. I might send it off to SGC, maybe have SGC grade this, and get a little bit of a lower price on the grading service there, which with a card like that might have a little bit of opportunity to actually make a little bit more profit on that if you pay a little bit less for the grading. But that's cool. That's cool that we got our Barry Bonds, but let's keep going. Got another Kirby Puckett. That's cool. But let's keep going because now, you know what? Now we got a shot at another Barry Bonds, right? Or possibly a Will Clark. But how about a second Barry Bonds better centered? Is that too much to ask for? Maybe that's too much to ask for. I'm happy that we hit a Barry Bonds. Like, I'm happy that we got a Barry Bonds out of the box. That's what I was going for. I wanted a Barry Bonds. So maybe it's too much to ask for to get a second, but hey, if we get a second, I'm going to be pretty happy. So we only got 5 packs left. How about a Will Clark? Can we get a Will Clark? Can we get the Will Clark out of here? It is a shame that Bo Jackson was not in 1987 O-Pee-Chee. If Bo Jackson was in 87 O-Pee-Chee, I would, gosh, I loved Bo Jackson. I mean, obviously his career just cut way too short. There's a late career Carlton Fisk there. Look at it, look at this. Look at the back of the Carlton Fisk card. Isn't that fun? Like how they have all the years. I remember as a kid just geeking out over the stats. I spent a lot of time as a kid flipping these cards over. Today, it feels like you hardly ever look at the back of cards, right? Like you don't really look at it for much. But back then, you actually use this as like a statistical log of the player's performance, and you actually kind of spent time studying the back of the card. At least I did. I thought that was always fun to see how the player did over time, what the best years of their career were, all that type of thing. So, man, they don't make cards like they used to. Well, there's a lot of things they do better about making cards today, don't get me wrong, but it is still kind of fun to go down memory lane here and look at some of these. How about Cecil Fielder right there? He had a year. Maybe he led the league in home runs in 87. Did Fielder lead? I mean, he had that one big year. Was it after 87 where he led the league? Let's see. I'm looking at his home run totals here. Man, he didn't have many home runs here. Of course, some of this was a little minor league stint. So not many at-bats in some of these years. So yeah, I don't know. What year did Cecil Fielder? Was that more like a 1990 or so? I don't know. Some of you baseball historians out there, let me know in the comments about that as well. I'm sure some of you out there just automatically know that, right? I just top of mind. You can't forget. You know that information. It comes right away. And I'm impressed with you, if that is you, that you've retained that information so well. All right, guys, we're down to our last 3 packs. 2 packs after this one. Joe Carter. All right, 2 packs left, guys. Let's go. Little love here for our last 2 packs. And while we go to open both of these, let me remind you BCW Supplies, that special offer, 10% off everything on their site. Top loaders, penny sleeves, magnetic card holders, binders, all kinds of, every way possible to protect your cards, you know, to organize your collection. Alan Trammell, he was big back in the day. That is all on bcwsupplies.com. Promo code SCI for 10% off your entire purchase at bcwsupplies.com. Okay, this is a really good card to hit, and I'll tell you why. Because over in Market Movers, I can see that the last PSA 10 of this card was $150, and that card looks good. That's got 10 potential. Maybe it's left-right centering on that's great. Corners are great. Edges look great. Maybe the top-bottom centering, maybe it shifted slightly up on the card, but this one I think is worth taking a chance and grading. Now, why would just a George Brett card from 1987 be worth $150 in PSA 10? The reason why is there's only 16 of them that have ever been graded to PSA 10. And that's why, you know, what I'm talking about in terms of this set being rare. People who are trying to collect the entire set or collect all the stars from the set, maybe somebody who wants to put together a complete PSA 10 set of this. Some of these cards are exceptionally rare in PSA 10. And so, you know, that kind of card right there, that is worth holding on to and worth grading. And once again, shout out to Market Movers. Go get Market Movers to track the value of your cards in your collection. Go to sportscardinvestor.com, click on Market Movers in the main menu bar, or download the Market Movers app on your phone. You're going to be happy you did. Man, I saw Giants and I was hoping for Will Clark. This is the last pack. This is the last pack. I saw Giants and I was hoping for Will Clark. Come on, Will Clark. Come on, Will Clark or Barry Bonds #2. Darryl Strawberry, another Darryl Strawberry. We've seen some duplicates. Can it be a duplicate of one of the right guys? Last card. Not the way I wanted to end it, but you know what, guys? This box was a ton of fun to open. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We got some fun cards. I sleeved up that Wally Joyner. I sleeved up that Dale Murphy just because of what they meant to me in my childhood watching those guys. Got a really nice George Brett. There's the Barry Bonds, the card we were looking for. We got it there. Andre Dawson, Tim Raines, Kirby Puckett, and many others. I'll probably go back and sleeve up right now with those BCW supplies. Guys, thank you for taking part in this break with me today. Go get your BCW supplies, promo code SCI at bcwsupplies.com for 10% off, and go check out Market Movers, and we'll see you soon with our next break. Take care.